All right, hi, my name is Matthew Guerin. I am a firefighter paramedic for Sarasota County Fire Department. I have been for approximately 15 years, 10 of that being a paramedic. The class I'm going to be teaching today is about psychology support. The psychology support follows the Everybody Goes Home Life Safety Initiatives. It's number 13 on it. And it really is helping firefighters to cope and recognize mental health issues. I think, me personally, I think it's super important because I think that we as a group do not do a good job of policing ourselves with mental health issues. I think that we are too macho and we just don't talk about it. So it's just one of those things that we need to place an importance on for each other. And I'm gonna back that up with some statistics that are kind of startling. 1 in 5 firefighters, they suffer from mental health issues. And obviously, as we know, firefighters are susceptible to PTSD, anxiety, depression, substance abuse, which is pretty rampant in the fire service, I think. And yeah, that's what we do to deal with what we do on a daily basis. Next slide here. The objective, like I said, is recognizing and coping with mental health issues. You guys are the audience. In addition, police officers could be the audience, first responders, paramedics, EMTs. We are at an increased risk for these issues because of the bad calls, pediatric calls. If you're a dad, you may relate that to your own family. Traumatic calls, we run all the burns, the eviscerations, dismemberment, and we deal with death a lot. In addition, we have sleep deprivation issues, which cause all sorts of problems for us in our mood and how we deal with things outside of here. And that also causes some immune system problems as well. So we can get sick easier, plus we're around sick people. We also deal with shift work, which can strain on our relationships. So you compound all those things together and it can play chaos for us. In addition, we live in a firefighter culture that tend to not talk about our feelings. And we are perceived as superheroes, even though on the inside we might be. All right, so this is kind of a picture of everything that we deal with. So I don't need help, I can rescue myself when really all those things are surrounding us all the time, and we just need to figure out ways to deal with them. So this right here are some statistics on suicidal thoughts among the general population from the National Institute of Mental Health. So you can see right there, the highest is 10.5% of suicidal thoughts, and this was based on 100,000 people. This is suicide attempts among U.S. adults, and you can see the percentage is 1.9%. And again, that's the same study of 100,000 people. Now, for some startling statistics here. Suicide for the fire department. And this was an FSU study on 1,046 firefighters. The suicide ideation, which thoughts about suicide at all, 46.8%. Half of us, almost half of us have thought about suicide. Almost 20% have planned, 15.5% have attempted suicide now, and 16.4% are a non-suicidal self-injury. So it's kind of an epidemic. In 2017, there were more first responder suicides than line of duty deaths. So we are not doing a great job of policing ourselves and making sure we're taking care of our mental health. So this is another illustration that kind of sums it up, if it were only that obvious, because like I said, we don't talk to each other. So what do we do for recognizing it? There is plenty of materials out there for like an internal size up. I have a worksheet here from one of the resources. I'll show you a little bit. But it's basically a quiz that says, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you done this? Do you recognize these new patterns to kind of see if you have a pattern towards suicide or mental health? And then if that, they list some resources on it to get some help. But if you've seen any of these new symptoms or new behaviors in yourself, then you could be close to that. And trust me, I know I've looked at these and I could see some of those tendencies and a lot of things maybe I do too. So it's important to talk to people. Well, let's just say that. But you can see substance abuse, personality changes, anxiety, anger, social withdrawal, and yeah, sense of hopelessness or feeling overwhelmed. It can happen pretty easy. So what do we do for treatment? So I got a couple of different things. One is a benefit that we have is our employee assistance program, which will get us 6 free sessions of psychotherapy where we can talk to people. CISD, which is great after hard incidents. I actually had an incident where I thought I didn't think I had a problem, but a chief recognized some of the things in me, and he called our chaplain and he said, hey, do you need someone to talk to? So, that's one way of we're able to police ourselves by having those kind of knowledgeable people around that recognize it in each of us. Talking to someone professional with psychotherapy, support groups. Exercise is a big one for me. I know running, lifting weights kind of gets my mind off everything. Is a nice little release for me. And we have our department chaplain. And the last one, which I'm going to tell, is I thought it was hokey at first until I read this study, is meditation. I know it's something I never would have thought of, and reading into it. This is actually, right here, what you're reading is based off of a Harvard study, and I think I have that in the next slide. For me, it was seeing tangible things. Yeah, exactly. It was seeing tangible things that I could actually see and feel, like the reduced blood pressure. That's something I can measure. All the other stuff, you think you could probably make yourself feel like, oh, I have less anxiety, even if you do, or I feel better, but the tangible things are what got me. And you'll see on the next slide where, oh, maybe you won't. I think I just wrote it down here. Let me see here. So the Harvard study found that participants who meditated for 8 weeks grew gray matter, where self-awareness and compassion originate, and shrunk areas associated with stress. So for 8 weeks they did this meditation. Our brains actually grew in areas that helped our health, and they shrunk in the areas associated with stress. Kind of interesting. And I think that the reference said only 5 minutes a day was the study. So you can do it however much you want, but I think it's just that time where you can just kind of, relax and let go for a minute. And some resources, obviously the Suicide Prevention Hotline, Code Green campaign, the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance, which is where the internal size up came from, and a couple others. There's a podcast right here, the Checking In podcast. Just lots of things to help us out. In the end, you just got to be here for one another. We're a big family here, and we're around each other all the time. We're going to have clues in on each other if we're that close. So we just need to take care of ourselves and one another, because if not, who else is going to? So, yeah, I think that's about it.